Brandon, I want to hear your thoughts on this kind of stuff from an operations standpoint, because, the first thing that I thought about was, well, yeah, that applies to agencies, right? They're in a different realm, and having a construction business, and you guys can relate, you guys contractors yourselves, the lunch is like the handshake, take a guy out to lunch, you're going to bro down a little bit, and you keep that top of mind mentality, but you also can get on the same level. So I find it kind of interesting that you guys have, come up with a framework, because I know there's no one magic pill that really handles all of this. So the hybrid, model is probably going to be the best bet. So from an operations standpoint, Brandon, how did you guys, really attack this? And I know we're going off a little bit from the article, but I really like what we're going here, because I think it's going to tie right back in nicely. But Brandon, how do you guys handle that from an operations standpoint within, when you kind of had that realization, like, all right, we're pissing people off now.
Yeah.
$3 million in work is a lot. You cannot risk that. Top of mind mentality always going to be prevalent. That's what social media is for now. It's not a direct response. What we're doing, or what you guys are doing, actually, you're trying to sell beach clothing in the wintertime in a place that snows, right? In the summertime, it's probably a lot easier, but you need to maintain that, your fingers on the pulse at that point. So talk to me a little bit about how operations inside to the resto business, how that kind of worked out when you guys had that realization.
Well, I think the first place is, and part of this was an accident, because Chris and I's professional relationship was pretty integrated. So we didn't have as distinct of silos between operations and sales, but that was purely on the back of our friendship, our working relationship. Over time, we saw the value of it and began to invest in that and actually turn that into process, right? And became intentional. But I think one of the things that Chris talks about when we're teaching solution selling, like solution-based selling, is we have to come up with actual concrete solutions then that our team does differently from everybody else. We can't just talk about, sayings on the walls or core values. It's got to be something that's concrete, measurable. There's some kind of system or process in place that holds the team accountable to actually doing that thing. I think operationally there was two things that happened. One is it made us really think about what we're doing and how we do it, and can we actually deliver concrete solutions that are measurable. And then I think the other thing it caused us to learn over time was how much more momentum and power a team can get when the sales and operational staff are actually working together. And it sounds funny for some people maybe when we say that, but I cannot tell you how many times a week we have conversations with people and they almost proudly say, oh, sales doesn't get engaged in that. They don't touch operations or service. Like they're saying with pride, like, yeah, we keep them out of that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, it's crazy, right? Yeah. It's crazy for residential work. It's crazy for multifamily. It's 10x crazy when we're talking about commercial relationships. So without hogging a bunch of airtime, I think those were the two biggest things that we learned together experimenting was we have to break down these silos between our operational and sales teams, because they become a powerhouse when they back each other up. And then in conjunction with that, we had to stop talking about what we do, and we had to start verifying and validating what and how we do it, so that when somebody said, hey, here's a concrete solution that we provide to overcome that challenge or that pain point, we had to make sure it wasn't just lip service.
Sure.
I think those are the two biggest, areas that we ended up kind of hyper focusing on during that transition.